The Indian state faces a paradox of being too big yet too small, with a complex web of licenses and permissions hindering businesses. Despite having the smallest number of civil servants per capita in the G20 group, India's state is relatively small in terms of tax GDP ratio and public expenditure GDP ratio. The main issue lies in perverse incentives and a skill gap among officials, leading to policy failures. The book State Capability in India suggests measures such as separating policy making and implementation, delegating financial and administrative powers, and addressing the technocratic gap through lateral entry and training. The political economy, public sector pay, and corruption also need attention for effective governance.
Myanmar Spring Revolution, often labeled as militancy by Indian perspectives, involves significant political developments. The National Unity Consultative Council established a parallel governance system, leading to the formation of the National Unity Government, NUG, and the Federal Democracy Charter. Despite its non-legal status, the charter serves as a political guideline for Myanmar's future constitutional development, emphasizing human rights, non-discrimination, and minority rights. The NUG, comprising diverse ethnic groups, demonstrates a commitment to a federal democratic structure, challenging the military's historical role. Ongoing pro-democracy efforts aim to establish a politically sound, federal, and democratic union, pushing back against the military's influence.
During the COP28 climate talks in the UAE, member states agreed to operationalize a loss and damage (LD) fund, a key expression of climate justice. The fund, demanded for 3 decades, will address the unavoidable impacts of climate change with money and technologies replenished by developed countries. However, concerns arise as the World Bank will host the fund for an interim 4-year period with unclear periodic replenishment commitments and voluntary contributions. The $450 million committed falls short of the actual demand, and conditions imposed on the World Bank's management, including transparency, raise uncertainties about the fund's accessibility and effectiveness. Despite progress, challenges remain for the LD fund.
The National Statistical Office's GDP estimates for Q3 show a 7.6% real economic growth, a slight slowdown from the previous quarter's 7.8%. Double-digit expansions in manufacturing, mining, utilities, and construction offset slowing growth in agriculture and services. Manufacturing achieved a 9-quarter high of 13.9%, and construction saw its best performance in 5 quarters at 13.3%. However, agriculture and key services sectors experienced a growth slowdown. Private consumption spending slowed to 3.1%, and government spending played a significant role in economic momentum. Policymakers face the challenge of broadening the growth base to sustain momentum and reduce inequality.
Manoj Jarange Patil, a 41-year-old activist from Marathwada, is leading the renewed Maratha demand for inclusion in the other backward classes (OBC) category in Maharashtra. Coming from a family of poverty-stricken farmers, Jarange Patil insists on OBC certificates for Marathas, a community constituting 33% of the state's population. His agitation gained momentum with hunger strikes and rallies, demanding reservation after the Supreme Court scrapped the 2018 law granting Marathas 16% reservation. While facing opposition, Jarange Patil's influence grows, setting the stage for a contentious issue in the state's politics with potential socio-political repercussions.